Hi, my name's Caitlin. Here's my presentation. It's on psychoactive drugs. My title is What Doesn't Kill You Does Not Make You Smarter. I wanted to start out with a video. It's a really moving video. Let's see if this works.
They said
if I got drunk,
what if I did coke?
I'd be one of the guys.
They said meth would help me get through my exams.
They said sniffing glue was no big deal.
Totally safe.
I could party all night.
They said heroin would be the best high I ever had.
It would help me forget my problems.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit.
They said that Ritalin would help me focus.
They said weed wouldn't lead to harder drugs.
They lied. They lied.
They lied.
He lied. Find out the truth about drugs.
Drugfreeworld.org.
Drugfreeworld.org.
All right. So as you can see, drugs have a serious effect on so many people. There's so much drug misuse, and it's really sad to see. And so a question might be, who are those that misuse drugs today? In our wellness book, Connect Core Concepts in Health, says the main users include male, troubled adolescents, thrill seekers, those in dysfunctional families, peer groups who accept drugs, the poor, girls dating older guys, and then those that don't misuse drugs consist of people who disapprove of them. I guess that's an obvious one. And then those with positive self-esteem and self-concept, those who are assertive, independent, and are academic achievers, churchgoers, and those in a good home environment. So those are just some factors to think about, because there's more people using drugs than you would even imagine. I'm sure you even know of someone close to you that has gone through addiction or some type of misuse. Okay, so what are these psychoactive drugs that I'm talking about? Science Daily defines these drugs by saying a psychoactive drug or psychoactive substance is a chemical substance that acts primarily upon the central nervous system or alters brain function, resulting in temporary changes in perception, mood, consciousness, and behavior. In this picture, I'm showing 4 different types of psychoactive drugs. There's probably more, like about 6. But here are 4 main ones: stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, and antipsychotics. All right, so did you know that we've been using drugs for thousands of years? It is an ancient and universal pursuit. People have used alcohol for celebration and intoxication for thousands of years. Today, it has become part of our culture. Imagine that it's part of the American culture. A non-profit corporation to promote drug prevention titled Foundation for a Drug-Free World states drugs have been part of our culture since the middle of the last century. Popularized in the 1960s by music and mass media, they invade all aspects of society. However, change has been seen in the ways of distribution and acquirement, and internet plays a significant role in this change. There's something called the new psychoactive drug, which are commonly illegal substances used outside of their traditional context, such as bath salts or herbal products. I hadn't even heard of those names before, but maybe you have. Okay, and here is another video. This will show, or start to show, how prevalent psychoactive drugs have become and how it's becoming part of our culture. Here is a video. Sorry, I'm gonna have to watch this ad.
Sparkle paper towel expresses your personality. Own your shine. Sparkle.
Okay.
Some students are calling it college crack. They're comparing it to acid or marijuana from the 60s and 70s or ecstasy from the 90s. I'm talking about medication for ADD, attention deficit disorder. And part of our in-depth look here at Higher Education this week on CNN, where we're taking a close look at how students are using Adderall to keep them alert. Here is CNN's senior medical correspondent, Elizabeth Cohen.
College senior Jared Gabay has a business finance test tomorrow, and he's all ready. He's got his book, his notes, and his pill. It's a prescription drug that wasn't prescribed to him. It was prescribed to a friend, and Jared bought it for $5. It's a generic form of Adderall, an amphetamine meant for people with attention deficit disorder. Jared doesn't have ADD, but he loves what he says Adderall does to his report card. So Jared writing a paper not on Adderall. What's going on in your head?
I'm kind of on YouTube, kind of on Facebook, listening to music.
So when you take it, how does it change you?
I would say I'm more driven. I'm kind of don't focus on anything else.
You're just focused on getting that paper done.
Right on the paper. Nothing's going to distract me from doing it. Nothing's going to bother me, and it's going to get out, and it's going to be good.
Jared's feeling good as he studies all night and into the morning, right up until he leaves for class.
I feel very prepared. I got a lot of formulas memorized, a lot of stuff that I crammed for, and I think I'm going to really rock this test out.
Jared says lots of his friends take Adderall like he does. A study at the University of Kentucky found half of juniors and seniors say they use stimulants like Adderall. The drug is so common among millennials, it's popping up on MTV.
Popping up on my reading websites, books, all this information.
How much Adderall you had today?
A lot? Doesn't matter. Okay, just listen.
This has doctors like Raymond Kudwicki worried.
At the short term, those kind of stimulant medications can often feel good. In the long run, there are significant problems, both in terms of thinking and mood problems.
Adderall can be addictive, cause hallucinations, aggressive behavior. But Jared says he's been taking it for 2 years and he's fine. He doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. Because after talking to lawyers...
Alright, you can watch the rest on your own. It's very interesting, though, how it's become so common. So common in the college scene. And I guess it makes sense because college is stressful. Students do report feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, lonely, and sad. There are financial and time constraints that make it hard to find the time to participate in extracurricular activities, which would normally reduce anxiety. And so because of this, many college and university students resort to using all sorts of drugs or stimulants to optimize alertness and pursue leisure and pleasure. These drugs may include energy drinks, alcohol, recreational, and prescribed, often used non-medically, drugs. One study found that approximately 55% of fraternity members do use non-medically used prescribed drugs. Interesting. Okay, so how do psychoactive drugs affect our health? Many times they could be used to actually help us in a healthy way, such as to help with anxiety and depression, pain relief, cough suppression. However, many times this does lead to misuse. It leads to developing dependence, which leads to addiction, and this does have a negative effect on the chemistry of our brains. Although people are different, so everyone's different according to genetic makeup or physical, psychological, and social factors will affect us each differently in the way that the drugs affect us. There are some myths. Many people say it will make you smarter. Many say they're not addictive or it's not going to hurt. Those are all lies. A study done at the University of Toronto proves that drugs do not make you smarter. I'll go into further detail on this later. Poor academic performance has been linked with AOD use. Psychoactive drugs lead to tolerance, adaptation to the drug, which is a part of addiction. So therefore it is addictive. Definition of addiction from the American Society of Addiction Medicine states addiction is a primary chronic disease of brain reward, motivation, memory, and related circuitry. Dysfunction in these circuits leads to characteristic biological, psychological, social, and spiritual manifestations. This is reflection on an individual pathologically pursuing reward and relief by substance use and other behaviors. Addiction is characterized by inability to consistently abstain, impairment in behavior control, craving, diminished recognition of significant problems with one's behavior and interpersonal relationships, and a dysfunctional emotional response. Okay, so with this definition, we can see that the characteristics of addiction are those that are included with the effects of psychoactive drugs. And although taking the drug may not hurt you, literally, its effects are actually deathly. I don't know if I said that right, but about 570,000 people die annually in the US due to drug use. That breaks down to more than 480,000 deaths related to tobacco, about 31,000 due to alcohol, nearly 22,000 due to overdose from illicit drugs, and close to 23,000 due to overdose from prescription pain relievers. Here are some facts for you. Approximately 208 million people consume illegal drugs internationally. I don't know how they found that fact, but because it is illegal, but there's a fact for you. 8% of the US population ages 12 and older used illegal drugs. The most commonly used and abused drug in the US is alcohol, and marijuana is the most commonly used illegal drug today. And going back to alcohol, alcohol-related motor accidents are the second leading cause of teen death in the United States. So you can see drugs are everywhere. Here are some more facts for you. As I mentioned earlier, there are many types of psychoactive drugs, but the ones that I'm going to focus on for the rest of this presentation are the ones that are more prevalent in our social sphere. That is caffeine and prescription drugs. These are becoming more and more popular, and caffeine falls under the stimulant category, and prescription drugs can fall under many categories such as opioids, stimulants, and depressants. Okay, I'm going to pause right there.